Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the morning routine. It is Tuesday morning, December the 12th, 2017, episode number 237, and I'm so glad to see you this morning. Good morning, Tom. You're an early bird. I love it. And you're not running today. It is snowing this morning where I am located in northeast Pennsylvania, and there are flurries coming down. It is not sticking on the roads, though, because it's just like 1 or 2 degrees warm enough where it's not sticking. I know last night when we were all going to bed, my daughter was hoping for a delay. I was hoping for a delay for her. I woke up this morning. I ran to the window. I threw open the sash. I was not looking for Santa Claus. I was looking to see what kind of snow had fallen, and I was very disappointed to see that there's a little bit on the grass, but that's it. So, I'm sorry, no delay for us today. Everybody's off to school, but hey, why not get excited about it, right? So I love the snow. It's a fun time of year. I know that some of the ski slopes are already open around here, well, wait, are they around here? No, I think I'm mistaken on that. I think where I saw the ski slopes were open and people were skiing, and I talked to people who had already been skiing, it was up north. I'm sorry. I think it was up in, way up north. So, but they're not open yet, but they are blowing snow. So, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's Monday was a solid Monday. I was up late last night. Guys, we are this close to going live with the new website. And I know maybe nobody else is excited about it, but I am super stoked because I've been working on this. I've been building this thing, and I'm really happy with how it's coming out, and I hope that other people are going to like what it is as well. It's really easy to navigate. I'm even building in, what's going to take a lot of time is I have to load in all of the previous episodes. I don't have to, but I want to, because I'm building in a search bar where you can actually type in a key. You can tell, guys. I'm excited about it. To say very simply, I'm very excited about it. So anyways, but we're this close to going live, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I have a question for you. In your mind, guys, has the word anonymous, the idea of being anonymous, do you think it's lost its value? Like, years ago when somebody said, all right, if you write this or you tell us this anonymously, nobody will ever know. Do you think people believed it more years ago, or do they believe it more now? Or has it never really held any weight? What do you think? I don't know. Story happened. I was there, and there was an opportunity. I was talking with some people, and there was a request to submit certain things, and they were like, and they'll be anonymous if you'd like them to be anonymous. And I was listening to the story, and the person in charge of collecting anonymous things continues to say, so-and-so person gave an anonymous one, and I accidentally read it. And then they continued on. After they said who it was and that it was anonymous, they continued on to try to tell me what it said. And I stopped them. I'm like, hang on, wait. You said it's anonymous. I know, but I just want to share. It doesn't matter if you want to share. You said it was anonymous. Don't tell me anything. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything. Now, this was a very harmless situation. It wasn't a in-depth, real serious thing. It was a lighthearted thing, but it was anonymous. And it got me thinking, has the word anonymous lost some of its weight? I don't know. It's like keeping a secret. Like, do you really trust somebody to keep a secret these days? Or you just kind of know it's going to leak out somewhere? I don't know. Your thoughts? Anybody? I don't know. So on we go. Hustle shower thought this morning. Here we go. Straight from the Hustle newsletter. Being completely naked feels less naked than being naked with shoes on. Yes, right? If you're naked with shoes on, you just feel weird. It's strange. It's like this weird awareness, right? I don't know. It's like Adam and Eve waking up in the garden going, holy cow, I've got shoes on. What's going on? I feel naked now, right? I love it. Anyways, on we go. Stories for you today. First interesting article I have today is about this trend that's going on now. I don't know if it's a trend. Maybe we can call it a trend because there are schools that are starting to do it. It's more than one. Is that trending? I don't know if it's trending. Brown University Brown University has initiated a $120 million campaign to drop all loans from financial aid packages awarded to their undergraduates. Student debt is at an all-time high. The average outstanding balance is $34,000 and change, up 62% over the last 10 years. And Brown will become the 16th U.S. institution to offer all of its undergraduates a loan-free education. So what they're doing is they're raising the funds so that after you get your grants and your scholarships, whatever is left that you would have to borrow money for, they are raising money so that they can cancel all of that stuff out so you do not have to borrow any money to go to Brown University. And as it says in this article, they are the 16th university to do this. The plan aims to replace financial aid packages with grants that do not have to be repaid. If we're successful in raising 1/4 of the total amount, which is $30 million, by December of this year, Brown will eliminate loans and financial aid awards for all current and incoming students starting with the 2018-19 academic year. Isn't that awesome? Brown's move is the latest in an effort to make higher education more affordable. You see everybody's talking about this, trying to do this. Now, the only challenge with this, guys, is it's only for not low income, but I don't know how they... It's not just low income, but it's people under a certain academic gap. And there are other schools and state schools. New York State School had done a tuition-free community college as long as your parents' income was under a certain level, things like that. So I would love to see this get to a place, though, where it didn't matter what the income was. People could go to college and get an education. I think it's great. I never understood how somebody who has a little bit more money in the bank basically is being taxed like Robin Hood, right? And they take it away from them so they can give free school to everybody else. But it's a tax, which if you're going to do that, I guess it should come from a government level. I don't know. Not, which would be terrible, you know? So I'm not promoting that. Don't get me wrong. So anyways, but kudos to Brown University for doing that. That's awesome. I'd love to see more schools do that as well. So next article we got today. This is a little taste of history, guys. The leech. Yes, the leech. Not the relative that keeps asking for money. We're talking about the little grimy thing that hooks onto you and it's a bloodsucker. Leech. Those gross little things. Listen to this. Leeches at one time were used to predict the weather. Yes. Listen to this. I'm just going to read a little snippet. Standing more than 3 foot tall. Right there. The Tempest prognosticator was an ornate contraption wrought with polished French mahogany, glass, silver, and brass. 12 glass bottles, each large enough to hold a British pint, stood in a circle around its perimeter, each with a resident single leech and a few inches of rainwater. The circle design was both aesthetically pleasing and humane in order that the leeches might see one another and not endure the affliction of solitary confinement. Weird. In natural circumstances, leeches remain lower in the water unless it's rainy. Interesting. And when it is rainy, they venture up in the water column and even out of the water in search of blood meals. They do seem to have some natural sense of when air pressure drops and a storm is approaching. So what happened was, in these bottles, like mercury rising in a thermometer, the leeches would rise in the bottle, the water column, as the rain neared. As the leech slid all the way up into the neck of the bottle, it would dislodge a small pin. In doing that, it would ring a large bell. It was forecasting by committee, since if multiple leeches rose in their bottles, the bell would ring out again and again and again. And this is how they could predict whether a storm was coming, was by leeches climbing up into a bottle. Wow. I wonder if it was more accurate than the current day weatherman. That would be curious. Very interesting. And it had been successful in predicting many stories. There's a lot more history of this, the inventor, and all the different things like that. If you go to freedomconvo.com, the morning show, click on the links for today. You can read this article in its entirety. Very fascinating little thing. So the last story here, you know, I haven't covered any of this, guys, because it's a very touchy subject. But I want to share a graph with you today that I thought was very interesting for everybody to know. I think this should be shared in every workplace, in every place where there's a gathering of people, whether it's a school or a church or whatever with volunteers. It doesn't matter. This is very insightful. And this is in regards to sexual harassment, which is all over the news. The behaviors Americans count as sexual harassment out of the Barna Group, okay? This is very interesting. The flood of allegations has caused many to ask, what counts as sexual harassment? And this is very insightful. This is a great article. You're going to want to go to the show links and check this out in its entirety. So listen to this. I'm just going to go over these numbers on this graph, guys, okay? And that's it. There's a lot more in this article. We're not going to go over all of it, but this is interesting. Okay, so obviously sexual harassment looks different for many different people. At the top of the list, the most pronounced one, 96% of women, 86% of men all say touching or anything like that is sexual harassment. So that's you know, whatever. Then it ticks down. There's some other things there. Making comments in regards to their looks or body would rank at 86% for women, 70% for men. Makes sense. Great. Then there's some more other ones. Boom, boom, boom. Pinching or poking. 77% of women, 68% of men. So we're still kind of tracking here, right? Having your path blocked. 63% of women, 49% of men. Persistence in asking someone out on a date after being told no. 58% of women, 40% of men. Interesting. Then there's some more on the list that going down. Snickering or laughing disrespectfully. 32% of women, 22% of men. Whistling. 29% of women, 23% of men. Staring. 19% of women, 18% of men. Winking. 16% of women, 12% of men. Light-hearted flirting. 12% of both men and women believe that could be sexual harassment. This is a in-depth survey that they did that would be very well, because I think that there are certain things in that we may do when we're gathered with people and we get very comfortable with people that we're doing as we think we're friends, but on the wrong day at the wrong moment could be taken as sexual harassment. And I hate for those things to be grouped in to serious inflictions, or not inflictions, but infractions. That's the word I'm thinking. Because this is a serious thing. And nobody should be subjected to sexual harassment in any way, shape, or form at any time. And it's very important, I think, for us to know what could be counted as that, because none of us want to be that person. None of us want to do something and then be surprised, like, what? You felt what? I didn't mean that, right? And nobody wants to fall into that trap. So great article. I would highly recommend going to it. freedomconvo.com, morning show, today's episode. It's the link right there. You'll see it, though. And there's a lot more. Boy, I mean, there's just a lot more detail in here, which is, it was a very good article. So go check it out, guys. Very important. But on we go. How about some Google Trends today? The top 10 most searched things on Google as of yesterday. 1, New York. There was an explosion in New York, as you know. A guy with a pipe bomb blew it up in New York City. No damage was caused except for a lot of fear, of course. Number 2 is the Patriots, as in the football team. Number 3 is Mario Batali, who is a cook guy and actually apologizes for sexual misconduct. There you go. Number 4, Golden Globes 2018. Number 5, Litecoin. Litecoin. Interesting. Number 6 is Alabama Senate race. Number 7, the College Board. Number 8, Green Monday. Number 9 is Anushka Sharma. Number 10 is the Champions League. And that is the top 10 tripling things right there. So let's see here. What's some trending news this morning? Top of the list, Sarah Sanders. Sanders says Trump policy would have kept out NYC bomb suspect. Then we have Patriots versus Dolphins. 3 takeaways from Dolphins 27-20 victory versus the Patriots. Then we have Charles Robert Jenkins, U.S. soldier who deserted to North Korea in 1965, has passed away at age 77. Then we have National Space Council, Trump to sign directive to send Americans back to the moon and eventually on to Mars. Then we have Apple. Apple is buying Shazam. Acquisition of music recognition app confirmed. There you go. See? The easiest way to grow. Just buy things up. I saw a new phone came out yesterday. I haven't seen any reviews on it. It was called the... Oh, stinker. What was it called? I can't remember what it's called. But one of the guys who had designed Android came out with this new phone. I forgot what the name is, guys. I apologize. But there is a new one out there. It's like $400 or $500 for like the huge phone, full bezel, lots of memory, great camera. Actually has a clip-on device to make a 360 camera out of it. Seems to be getting good reviews, but I haven't watched any in-depth reviews of it yet. So on we go. Supreme Court of Alabama. Trump group sends 12-year-old to interview Roy Moore. Then we have United States Armed Forces. DOJ appeals ruling that transgender people are free to enlist in U.S. military. After that, we have the Christmas Prince. Netflix says 53 of its viewers have been watching A Christmas Prince every single day. What? That's amazing. Okay. Then we have Alabama. Special place in hell for Republicans who don't support Trump, says Moore. There we go. Last story. Bitcoin. Guys, I've mentioned this many times about Bitcoin and what's going on. This is getting scary, though. People are now taking out mortgages to buy Bitcoin as the prices soar. I was talking to a financial insider the other day, not an insider, but somebody who was well-versed, and it's getting scary, guys, on how much money is getting wrapped up in Bitcoin when Bitcoin is not tied to any physical thing. There's nothing backing it. And listen, it could go to $100,000 per Bitcoin. We have no idea. It could go to the moon, or it could crash into nothing. And the question is, how big does it get before it becomes an issue? Because it could inflict. Right now, it's gambling money that's getting put in there. But at what point do institutions put so much money in there that if it collapses, it ripples through the rest of the economy? And that is when it gets scary. So, but hey, on it goes. So, all right, guys, how about we slow down for a minute and for a passage of wisdom this morning? Today's passage of wisdom I thought was a great one. I read it on yesterday and thought this is a great one to try to start getting our minds ready. Ready for the holiday times, right? When we're spending a lot of time with people and things like that. So today's passage is Ephesians chapter 4, verses 31 and 32. Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ God forgave you. Don't we need to hear this once in a while? Don't we kind of fall into a trap every once in a while where we do kind of hold bitterness and we're bitter towards somebody, maybe even somebody some rage or anger, deep in that they fight to hold in, and during the holidays they're going to be around that person, they fight to hold it in, brawling or slander, any kind of malice, right? I mean, it can creep into the shadows of our lives here and there, right? And of all times of year, now is a great time to remember what Christmas is really all about, the birth of a Christ who then forgave us and canceled all of those things against us. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ God forgave you. So it's a great reminder of what this season is about, right? The gift that is born on Christmas Day, and also to keep things in perspective as we start getting around people that maybe we're not around the rest of the year. So I don't know, a little bit of encouragement and reminding there. So, but on we go. Let's pray, guys. Let's get this day started. Father, good morning. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day, this fine Tuesday morning with the snow falling outside. And Father, I want to pray right now, Father. I want to ask you for protection and safety for the people in California that are living through these wildfires. It's hard to imagine as I sit here and it's snowing and cold outside that right now thousands of people are worried about their homes and where they're going to live, how are they going to celebrate Christmas, what are they going to do with their safety, all those things with these fires that are burning out of control in California. Father, be with the people who are fighting those fires, keep them safe as they put their life on the line sometimes to protect other people's lives and homes, and just give them great success in fighting this back. I pray for a weather change, a heavy monsoon of rain, and a wind blowing or not blowing or blowing in the other direction, whatever it might be. Father, I pray for those people in California. Also, Father, thank you for the message today that you've given us. A great reminder to fill our lives with compassion and forgiveness, and to help us remove all of the bits and pieces of anger or malice or bitterness or whatever it might be that we're hiding into the corners of our lives in regards to people out there. Help us clear our life of those things and just fill it up with good thoughts and good feelings towards the people that are around us. We love you and we thank you for the gift that you gave us of total forgiveness. We love you. Amen. And that, my friends, is a magnificent wrap. Thanks for being here this morning, and I hope that you have a fantastic Tuesday. Until tomorrow morning, don't you forget that today, this very day, is your chance to be exactly who you were meant to be. I love you guys. Have a great day.